Welcome back to Lead to Be Led, where we talk about politics, life, and common sense way of thinking, which there's a lot of lack of that common sense part. Been having a couple of heated exchanges about that last shooting, and also about Bondi telling Waltz she'll do this if they finally would give up the voting rolls. I can't believe there's such BS about yelling about giving up the voting rolls. That just tells me there's a bunch of damn crooked people out there. No ifs, ands, because if there wasn't nothing funny about it, Waltz would just hand over the rolls. But mainstream media, and even on Fox, they do certain segments and then they leave it alone, like voter fraud. Just a couple weeks ago, they found one 2-bedroom little ranch style house that sent in, well, first they requested 80 mail in ballots. The state of Minnesota sent them to them, that address. And of course, the mail in ballots got in. This is a little 2-bedroom ranch house, like I said. Any government official, unless you're a Democrat, would see that and say it's a red flag and maybe we ought to look into this. But Minnesota, being the way its leadership is now, they didn't. So Bondi, who's our Attorney General, said, we'll do this if you finally hand us over the voting rolls, which Waltz is refusing to do. Because he doesn't want Bondi to find out that this is more going on, more than what it seems like on the surface. Just like the fraud for the anywhere from 9 billion on up that's going on. That Waltz covered up. And the state attorney general covered up. They were right aware of that fact. So I try to point out to these people who wants to be right and who hates, I begin to think they're either getting paid or they're smoking too much damn weed. I haven't figured it out yet. That it's nothing wrong with her, one, asking for the voting rolls and use whatever leverage she can to finally get the damn things. She's been requesting them for a long time, and Waltz is not wanting to give them up. So what in the hell earth do y'all live in for that not to make any damn sense to y'all? Sorry for my language. No, I'm not. I'm pissed. All common sense has went out the window. Everything. I mean, you look at what's going on. Democrats can't even define what's a woman or a man. And let's get real on that subject. No matter what a male or female, however they mutilate their body, is still the sex they were born with. There's no way getting around it. If you're a man, you can have your male parts cut off and everything, but at the end of the day, you're still a man. You take a horse, you gild them, but they're still male. And if you took everything off of them, well, guess what? That was a bad accident for that poor horse, but they're still a male. You can't get around it. And what really bothers me, and nobody's stating the facts. Like I said, you'll hear about a hit and a miss. So even Fox, we're doing our job because we mentioned it. How a lot of major institutions have did study after study, and this transgender thing is just a euphoria, and it's a mental illness. And I'm not just saying that, but you stop and think about it, people. It is. A person's got to be something going on, not hitting on all 8 cylinders, for them to feel that way. And he said, well, they're a little bit feminine, so, well, hell, I know a lot of guys. I had one client, he was feminine as hell, but he was still a man. I mean, and he liked women. And I've heard people, gay men, primarily I've heard this from, that they decide they're trans because their family wouldn't accept them as gay. But when they told them, well, we're trans, we identify as a lady, then the family accepted them. Something's wrong with that damn family. If your child or relative, you know, they come out of the closet and say they're gay, so be it. Just support them. Say that's fine. You know, you just be careful and just try to be the best person you can be. Subject's closed, over with, done. But some families, they can't do that. And it just amazes me how some families accept some dude who says, well, I'm a woman, but won't accept him as a gay person. You're doing a disservice to that gay person. Because I don't have nothing against him. I shouldn't have even said that because I'm tired of hearing that type of bullshit. You know, people say, well, this is the facts. I'm sorry, I got to say that. Or like you take the Somalians and their fraud. Well, all Somalians aren't fraudsters. Hell, we know that. We know all Muslims aren't extremists. We all know that. Just like, you know, on the other side, people think Christians are extremists. All Christians aren't extremists. So, you know, we need to get, words matter. And they really do. When we get in the mindset, when we voice an opinion, and we got to put in something like, all Somalians ain't bad, all Muslims aren't bad, all Christians aren't bad, all gay people aren't bad. There's something wrong with our society. Common sense says they're not. We all know that. So stand on your feet and just come out and say it. I mean, you shouldn't have to add that into any statement. To me, there's no reason for it. And I'm going to try like heck not to. Because it's all common sense. We all know every person out there ain't but bad. It's like, you know, I wear cowboy boots and spurs, and it doesn't make me some extremist or far right extremist. And yes, I carry a gun once in a while. But, you know, I'll give you a shirt off my back. Hell, if you're stuck alongside the road, and if I don't like you, I'll still pull over and help you. I might say something under my breath. I'm not going to lie. I said, damn it. It couldn't be anybody but them. But I'd pull over and help. I don't care. If some person they need help, then you help them. It doesn't matter if it's a man wearing a dress or whatever. to start thinking common sense. And damn it, we need to stop trying to be right. We've got to justify what we're saying. But the thing of it is, you try to have a discussion. They want to, excuse me, they want to argue. I think they want attention, basically, and they use social media to get that attention. You know, I'd rather be training horses and all. I do like people. Human nature fascinates me. Just like animal nature. I like to get not just horses, but animals. I like to try to understand them. And if I, deal with a problem horse, that's my job. I got to figure out why and what, and try to fix that problem. But if I don't fix the owner, the problem's going to still be there. And that's, you take that trans issue. There's one actress, she's got 5 kids and all of them trans. That tells you where the problem resides, but she's not willing to look at the problem. She's not willing to look at herself and say, what am I doing to my poor kids? I'm screwing them up. This trans issue is going to come to a head. You're going to have a bunch of young kids getting mutilated, and they're going to become young adults. And you're starting to hear more and more of it, where they're finally get an age, they think for themselves, thank God, and they realize their parents and doctors lied to them. And they did. I mean, some doctors are getting rich off this trans bull crap, because once they transition, they got to go to doctor for the rest of their life. I've heard story after story, especially with the females on this end, that they get a little older, they get in their 20s, middle 20s, and now they realize they screwed up. They wish they can have kids, but they can't. You people out there trying to keep it clean, you're screwing a bunch of people up. That's the long and short of it. And then people talk about a little bit. How come all of a sudden Democrats and liberals starts making this a problem, and all of a sudden now we got kids coming out of the woodwork saying they're trans? Why is that? See, nobody's asking the important questions. And make them explain themselves. And they'll come up with some bullshit answer. But that's alright. You throw it back in their face. And just tell them, no, we don't want to hear that answer. Just tell us why so many more kids all of a sudden decide they're trans after all these years. And they'll say, well, it's more relevant, it's more accepted now, and the same old BS line you'll hear. But no, that's not an excuse. That's a talking point. That is trying to make yourself be right. There's nothing wrong with admitting you're wrong. Like the last shooting, I'm dead fast. I'm ticked. And Cindy was getting a little short with me because she said, well, You're sure? Because I saw a slow mo video and he had the gun in his hand. His finger was through the trigger guard and it discharged. She said it'd be, AI. Well, if you really look at your AI pictures, 90% of the time there's a watermark somewhere in that video, a picture for that matter. So it can tell. And plus, you look at the source that I've said over and over again. You always look at the source. If you read something from the damn Democrat Party or some liberals, laborers of America, or same way on the Republican side, you dig deeper. Oh, I lean to Democrats, so I read this, and Democrats said it's true, so this is my truth. No, there's the truth. This BS about my truth, your truth, everybody's truth is different. No, damn it, there's only one truth, and the truth is. The truth of the matter is we got a group, an organization, who wants to change America, wants to turn it to socialism or communism, and that's the truth of the matter. We got Republicans, most of them don't have the balls to do what needs to be done or say what needs to be said. Well, we don't want to be, taken as extremists. Oh, bullshit. Yeah, that's my favorite word for today. But I'm keeping it real. So it is what it is. I mean, none of this is rocket science, people. None of it. We came to a turning point in America that we got to decide. And the problem is, the majority of the people wants one thing. They like closed borders. They like the price of gas going down. They like the fact the price of groceries are going down. But see, Democrats and liberals don't want you to realize that. They want to come up with some new drama for a day. I mean, you take the ICE situation in Minnesota. It's in one town, basically, in Minnesota, one city. How come we don't have that problem all over the country? Easy one, like here in Tennessee, they let ICE do their job, and they help them when they can. Bingo, problem solved. There's no riots. You might get a little protest here and there, but that's nothing to speak about. They get the illegals, they ship them damn out of here. And people say, what? Excuse me. Well, they say some of the people they're picking up hasn't did a crime. Yes, they did. They crossed the border illegally. That's a crime. Some people say, well, it's just a misdemeanor. I don't give a dang. It's still a crime. They're here illegally. And in the law, we're not supposed to support them with welfare, yada, 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 but we are. Some states are. And that's the long and short of it. So this sort of making up for the short little podcast I had yesterday. Got interrupted because Cindy came home early and we got ice, so I was worried something was wrong out there because the roads were pretty slick. People start using your head and quit trying to be right and look at the damn big picture. Like Blondie, she's got a job to do. Let her do that damn job. I mean, she's got to do the best she can do. She got to work with what she got. Is she perfect? No. Trump perfect? No. But I like his policies. What I think of him as a man doesn't matter one iota. He's trying to do a job, and some things I'm on the fence about. But see, before I run my mouth about it, I think about it. Like about instance in Greenland, which we'll get into at some point. But right now, not. I've done ran my mouth enough. So, I think that's good content for today. Give y'all something to think about. Of course, you're going to think about the way that you want to think about it anyway. And you'll either think one or two things. Well, that old cowboy's made a point. Or you're going to say, well, that old cowboy's one SOB. Guess what? I don't care. Just think on your own. Excuse me. So anyway, with that said, as I always say, be true to yourself. Use your brains, and God bless, and take care, people.